Okay guys, so quickly going to show you some of the things that I use. I'm going to use a clear acrylic powder from Mia Secret. Also, I'm going to use the liquid from that brand as well, and the primer for my nails from the same brand. And I finally got a brush that I like. I ordered another one, but I didn't like it because it was too big. This one is kind of the perfect size. I like working with a smaller brush, and this is just perfect for me. And I think it was only $10. And this is also the nail drill that I have been using. It also comes with all the little nail drill bit things that you need, and a nail buffer, a 180 grit file, and this is the nail art brush that I'm using. I'm going to be using the really thin brush side, and then next you're going to need some clear nail tips. I really like these ones, really happy with these. Um, they are already tapered at the end, and then I'm also going to use some alcohol, and I just added it in this little container. Okay, so just a quick recap on how I do the nails start to finish, just because I know I did another video prior to this. So I start out with this really thin nail file type drill bit. I don't know the names, so just sorry in advance for that. But I'm starting out with this little guy just because I want it to help lift any dead like skin around my cuticle. Just lift it to get it ready and clean it up for the nails that I'm going to put on top. And this one, to me, instead of going straight in with the brown one, this one is kind of less harsh, I guess. There's less chance of me cutting myself, and it just, I don't know, it just helps lift around the cuticle. And then I'm going to go in with a little brown nail file, and this, again, just helps take everything that I lifted off. I could do it with cuticle cutters, but this is just faster and easier for me. So I just go around once because I don't want to do it too much, because I am going to be doing that around my cuticles a little bit later too. So I just don't want to do it too much because I don't want to cut myself. So next I'm going to move on to the clear tips. These are almost the exact same shape that I like originally. So I don't really have to do any cutting as far as shaping goes. I would like them a little skinnier. So I'm going to size them down to my nail, and then I'm going to add the nail glue, which, oh, I forgot to show in the beginning, but you do need nail glue. I'm going to add that, and you want to make sure that they're straight before you even glue it down, because once you kind of stick it, it doesn't come up. So after that, I'm just going to go ahead and get my liquid ready, and then the next step I'm going to do is measure them to my other nails. And I cut these a little bit, I'm just cutting them with nail clippers. I cut these a little bit shorter than the rest of my nails because I did end up cutting all the rest of my nails down after I filmed this because they were just a little bit too long for me, so I ended up cutting them down. But I'm just going to cut them with regular nail clippers, and a step that I sometimes forget on one hand is the primer. Don't forget to put the primer on before you put your acrylic. Yeah, so I'm putting that all over, and then I'm going to start with my acrylic. Getting this brush, I know before in the previous videos I was using a makeup brush, which worked out really well, but I have to say getting the brush, which is only $10, made a really big difference. Like, it worked so good. I did order another one prior to this, and it was just too big for me, but this seems to be the perfect size for me. It's not too big, not too wide. It works really well. And everything will be listed in the description box below. I believe I got almost everything from Amazon, so it will be listed and linked in the description box, so don't forget to check that out. So basically what I'm doing is dipping my brush in, and I'm getting a pretty generous amount. And I've kind of learned that I need to wait a little bit with the acrylic powder to let it, after I set it on my nail, I kind of wait a little bit for it to dry just a little bit, and then I pull it down. It's a lot easier like that and not using as much of the liquid. So I'm basically putting it in the middle where I put the nail tip, and then dragging it down to the rest of my nail, the tip of my nail, and then I'm going to go in with more acrylic and do the top part on my natural nail. So I'm basically just setting it down and then pushing it with the brush to the tip of my cuticle, the edge of my cuticle, and again I'm just going to bring it down. And sometimes I do need a little bit more to go in with a little bit more powder just to fill that space where my natural nail is, because I kind of go in little by little, which I'm not sure if you're supposed to do that, but it works for me. And then for me, an important step or tip, I guess I should say, is to make sure you clean up around your cuticle area. You don't want a lot of extra acrylic there. It just doesn't look cute, and it's going to take you longer to file around them after it's dry. So just keep that in mind to not put a lot around your cuticle. And then after the acrylic is dry, you don't want to do it before it's dry. You could usually tap on it, and if it makes a little click sound, then you know it's dry. I'm going to go in with the nail file, and I use it on the 180 grit side. Again, I don't have to do much shaping with these because they are already tapered. I would like them a little thinner. If I had more time, I would have done it a little bit more, but I basically just sanded just a little bit on each side and then made sure the bottom was straight. And then the next step is kind of optional. You can go straight in with the brown nail file, but I like to do this with this one, especially if you have a lot of acrylic around your cuticle. This just helps pull the acrylic away from the cuticle so you don't have to do a lot of sanding with the brown one, which you can potentially cut yourself. So I like to do this. It kind of just loosens it up. So then now I'm going to switch back to the little brown nail file, and I'm going to use the edge of the file, and I'm going to go around my cuticle. I usually go around maybe 2 times, 3 times max, because that's usually all I need because I don't put a lot around there. So I'm just going around my cuticle with the edge, and then I'm going to flatten the file, and I'm going to go back and forth motions from the tip of the nail, from the start of the nail to the tip of the nail, and just make sure there's not any lumps or bumps and just everything smooth. And I try to look at it from all angles and each side to make sure it's pretty smooth. And I don't like my nails super thick. I think I said that in the last video. I like them really thin, so I kind of file them down a little thinner than maybe they should be. I don't know. That's just the way I like them. And before I get ready to paint, I do buff them with this little buffing block. My nail guy used to do that all the time, so I like to do it before I do that. And these are the polishes that I'm going to use. This polish was from one of the sets that I showed you guys in the last video. This is the only blue I had, and this is the top coat, one of my favorite top coats. So I'm just going to get a little bit of the blue, and I'm going to get a little bit of the purple color that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to add a couple of drops on this little tray because I need to pick it up with my brush, and it just makes it easier like that. Also, before I start to paint my nails, I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol and just clean my nails just to make sure there's no powder and everything's smooth before I apply any polish. So the nail art pen that I'm going to use the really thin brush side, and I'm going to start with the blue first, and these are both gel colors. I'm going to just basically, I don't even know what to call this. I'm just basically doing a bunch of swirls on my nail. I'm first doing the blue, and then I add a little bit of the purple color, and I basically just mix them together. But you also need the alcohol to kind of blend them and mix them. So I kind of put the both colors on first, and then I'm gonna dip the brush in a little bit of alcohol. I forgot to show this part, but I dip the brush in a little bit of alcohol, and it basically just kind of, I don't even know what it does, but it makes it like a little bit clearer and kind of mixes them both together without taking it off, I guess. I'm not sure, but the alcohol really helps. So I'm dipping it in right there, and then I'm gonna start mixing it. I guess it kind of makes it thinner too. Basically just mixing it, the two colors together. I'm not even like going in any certain ways or anything. I'm just kind of seeing what works as I go. And if I would have did this again, I probably would have used a little bit of less nail polish each time and a little bit more alcohol so it could be a little bit more see-through. That's what I originally wanted, but I'm not sure how I got to this point. And I haven't did my nails in like almost a month, so I was a little rusty. I wasn't exactly satisfied with the whole outcome of these nails, but yeah, I was a little rusty. And I will say with this blue Kira Sky brand, the top coat did not go on very smooth. It went on, kind of left like circles and holes in it, which this top coat never does that. I'm not sure what the deal is. I know I used another Kira Sky nail polish before and it did the same thing. So I know it's something to do with that nail polish. The nail polish on the bottle doesn't say it needs a base. It doesn't say it needs to be wiped with alcohol after, which I have tried and it did the exact same thing. So I'm really not that pleased with that brand. I'm not sure if they need if it works better with their own top coat. I'm not sure, but yeah, I didn't like the outcome of it, and I really like my top coat, so I know it's not that. So after I did this and I got it to where I wanted it, I cured it, and again, it doesn't, like when I wiped it with alcohol, the paint was still coming off of it, and I cured it for a long time, so I don't think it's that. But anyways, after I put the top coat on, it does cure fine. But like I said, with this brand, Kira Sky, it leaves little bumps and it's just really not smooth at all. And with the purple alone, the purple brand of nail polish alone, it does not do that. So I'm not sure, but it's the only blue I had, so I just used it anyways. But yeah, guys, I'm not really good with the nail art. I'm just getting started and starting to learn how to do this. I'm not exactly sure I'm going to be a pro at it, but if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know if you guys want to see more of these. And don't forget to check out the description box because everything will be listed and linked in there. And thanks for watching.